for your Friday fail story. These people thought they had the perfect plan, but somewhere along the line, that perfect plan went completely sideways, and it became an Uber, an ultra, dare I say it,
Don't you dare.
mega.
Failed.
You sounded great, boss.
Thanks, guys.
Beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Somebody said Rafe needs one of these.
That is a nice little pick-me-up.
Friday Fails brought to you by Moritz Royce Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Rizzuto Show.
All right, thank you, Moon. Not everyone gains Florida man status overnight. Sometimes you got to be a Florida kid first. A teenager near Tampa is in trouble after telling an alligator, quote, hold my beer. Or technically, it was a can of hard iced tea. Have you seen this footage yet? Last week, somebody posted a video of some teenagers hanging out in a parking lot and getting a baby alligator to latch onto a can of Twisted Tea. Then one of them picked the gator up with the can still in its mouth and chugged. Cute, huh?
No.
No, an official at the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission saw the video, launched an animal cruelty investigation. Now, one of the kids, we assume that the one who chugged, is charged with removing it from its habitat without a permit.
Failed.
And one official says he hopes the judge makes an example out of the kid and that he should find better things to do than tormenting some poor little alligator.
Yep.
Good news is, guys, the gator's okay. Released into a retention pond, so it's alive and well.
Good.
By the way, the final story we have today is probably one of the more ultimate Friday fail stories without anybody dying.
Oh, okay,
Wow,
good.
that's good.
Yeah, usually when you give us warnings, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, this one is, I mean, woo boy.
Okay.
Somebody done messed up. Now, this guy might want to start focusing on not embarrassing himself. Cops in Chicago tried to pull over a guy on the 4th of July after they noticed the license plate on his super sweet 2008 Acura was obscured. And he was actively taunting police with it. So he'd covered the plate with tape and wrote a message on it basically daring them to chase him. It said, "Don't embarrass yourself, Chicago Police Department." His name is Alonzo Terrazzo. He's 21 years old. When they tried to pull him over, he floored it and started a high-speed chase. It was in a busy area, though, and cops didn't want to cause a crash, so they decided to call off the chase after they saw him speed through a red light. Unfortunately, Alonzo didn't realize they'd given up, though, and handled the crash part all on his own. He started driving the wrong way down the street, blew through 2 more lights before crashing into another car. Luckily, the woman in that car wasn't seriously hurt, neither was Alonzo, but he did get arrested, and he's facing half a dozen charges for things like reckless driving, eluding police, plus 15 different traffic violations.
Failed.
He told his judge he had a job interview coming up next week, but it sounds like he might not make it to that. They threw the book at him and set his bail as $250,000.
His new job's making license plates.
Yeah, there you go, Scott. In Ellesmere Port, England, a man is in jail after cops saw him inhaling a blue balloon while driving. When 25-year-old Keaton Beck was pulled over by an unmarked police car, officers spotted a bunch of spent nitrous oxide canisters all throughout his car. They also found a bunch of cannabis resin. And, cannabis resin, what is that? And by a bunch, I mean a street value of $7,500
Whoa.
worth of cannabis resin. Later in the day, they found 2 kilos of cocaine in a storage unit. They also took cash, drug paraphernalia, and 48,000 nitrous oxide canisters worth over $77,000, facing a ton of charges.
Failed.
All because he was huffing while driving. Here's a short one. A guy from Connecticut was hurt after he accidentally shot himself in a grocery store this past Saturday. 23-year-old dummy sustained a gunshot wound from an accidental discharge of a gun he was carrying while in the store. Guy drove himself to the hospital. He was in stable condition. Charges are pending.
Failed.
A 39-year-old woman in Indiana was looking into getting a job at her local sheriff's department. She had an interview last Thursday morning. Interview was at 8:45 that morning. She showed up drunk.
Man.
Dang it.
Her speech was slurred. Breath smelled like alcohol. When they breathalyzed her, she was twice the legal limit. And like an idiot, she had driven herself there. So she eventually admitted she'd been drinking that morning. They arrested her for operating a vehicle while intoxicated and locked her up on a $1,500 bond.
Fail.
So instead of a job, she got a DUI. A woman from Coos County, Oregon, was arrested after breaking into a property owned by a seafood company and ripping apart processing machinery. Moon, was she naked while doing it?
You betcha.
You betcha. For some reason, she was.
Hey, sometimes you just got to be that way.
So around 10 in the morning last Thursday, cops got a call reporting a naked woman going crazy and breaking machinery inside the processing plant. 2 officers responded. They found a 50-year-old Priscilla Coster. By that time, she had a coat on. She was already on probation for another incident. She's been charged with criminal mischief, criminal trespass, and probation violation.
Fail.
And finally, it's a good thing this guy didn't work at a hospital. So there is a lab in upstate New York called Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and they are suing a cleaning company because 3 years ago, a janitor who was working there ruined decades worth of research. So the lab had a super cold freezer holding cell cultures, samples, and other research elements. The freezer made a beeping sound. And there were signs explaining that this is normal and how it could be muted. Like, if you don't like the beeping, there's a way to mute.
Yeah, you hit the clock and settings thing 4 times until it says OP4. That's what my microwave does.
But the janitor found the beeping to be, quote, annoying. So he just unplugged it.
Oh.
I like
fix
his
it.
thinking. Makes sense.
Okay.
Just unplugged it.
This is a dad.
You guys ever seen Half Baked? You know, when he's like in the lab and he's mopping and the doctor comes over, or the scientist comes over and says, "Excuse me, janitor, can you take this down to the lab and pick this up for me?" And he goes, "Sure." And he hands him the mop, says, "Excuse me, doctor, mop this crap up. I'll be right back."
Scientist.
Yeah, here's scientist.
Here you go, scientist.
Well, so again, this is a super cold freezer holding cell culture samples, other research elements. He unplugs it. That caused the temperature to slowly rise from minus 112 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 25.6 degrees, enough to wipe out 25 years of research.
Oh my gosh. I see the Dave Chappelle character just in the lab going, "I'm sick of this damn beeping."
In the lawsuit, the lab says it caused more than $1 million in damages. The cleaning company has not commented.
Bummer.
Fail.
That's a bummer.
This beeping is driving me crazy.
$1 million
it's-
worth.
$1 million and just unplugged it. And those are your Friday fail stories.
Dudo Show. Happy birthday, Riz.
I do want to recognize somebody near and dear to my heart. My daughter turns 12 on Sunday, so I do want to say happy birthday to the girl.
Birthday.
Happy birthday to the girl.
12
The
years
best
old.
one in your family.
Big one, too, huh?
Heartbreak is on the horizon.
That's right. And I hate to go into this story after wishing happy birthday to my daughter, but headline, doctor issues warning after man attempts to enlarge manhood by sticking penis in ant nest.
Okay.
That's a good
well,
follow-up to that birthday. Yeah, you're right.
and we're back.
Back to Father of the Year.
You know what though?
There's a lot of hot ants out there.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Here's something to think about. Just a little perspective shift.
Yeah?
I mean, where would we be without the guy that tried raw fish for the first time? Where would we
Here
be
we go.
without the guy that said, "I'm going to build
right.
something with that tree"?
Or
Good
Where,
point.
where would we be
Heroes.
without the people that said, "This is a very strange thing.
Hey,
I'm going
I
to try to
have-
cook it and eat it"? And well,
or I
what a
have
lovely
this
plant.
peanut butter on one slice of bread. What if I put jelly on the other and put it together?
They all sound like wacky ideas until
right.
they're ubiquitous.
Pioneers. This guy's a pioneer.
He's not, though. Because, again, headline, doctor issues warning after man attempts to enlarge manhood by sticking penis in ant nest.
Now, let me try to get in a man's brain. So this guy was thinking, I am not happy with the size of my penis. What can I do? Okay, ants. I'm going to put them on. They're going to sting it. It will enlarge because it's going to be inflamed. Thus,
I am so happy you kind of put that together because that's kind of what happened.
Yes.
Seems reasonable.
I'm happy to empathize.
So I'm just going to read the article. This is out of Thailand. So it's in Thailand, and here's what it says. A man forced his genitals into a red ant's nest before collapsing in agony and harrowing footage circulating on the internet, prompting a doctor to issue an urgent warning amid concerns others may attempt the eye-watering penis enlargement trick. In the clip, which the article on the website I saw said, which is too disturbing to share, the man opts for a drastic strategy in an apparent bid to, quote, treat his erectile dysfunction, thrusting his penis and testicles. So he went twig and berries.
So he's got an ED, so he is not able to get erect, and so he's trying to show biology who's boss by doing this. Instead of, I mean, there's tons of pills out on the market right now.
He
Did this sound
thrust,
Victory Treats, ED?
he thrust his penis and testicles into a nest of red weaver ants at his home.
Why the berries?
Viagra.
Maybe
might
because
as
that's
well.
where like the factory is, and so he thought, I want to ignite that up too.
Unable to bear the stinging, he washed the insects off with water, only to repeat the procedure and collapse in pain after the second attempt.
Oh, buddy.
Golly, dude. Read a book.
The do-it-yourself hack resulted in an appalling injury which left him with swollen blisters, although the end result did result in a slightly enlarged member as a result of the swelling. There you go, Learn.
You know
did
what?
it.
We're on to
I don't-
something.
None of you are watching, or at least we haven't talked about it. And just like that, the sequel to Sex and the City, which is on HBO Max now, and new episode aired yesterday, watched it. And there's actually something similar to this. Harry, Charlotte's husband, can't do a certain thing when they're having sex. And so they go to a doctor, and the doctor tells Harry, do Kegels. And men don't understand that they have Kegels.
Oh,
And so
sure.
apparently, if you have erectile dysfunction or something like that, try. Let's all flex our Kegels right now and there. Try
I've
flexing
been
your
doing
Kegels
it the entire broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just
and
easier to stick it
strengthening
in
your
an
pelvic
ant's nest.
floor.
Yeah.
It's like holding in your pee, right?
Yeah,
With your
just
Kegel muscles.
You just,
like,
yep.
oh, yeah.
And so anyway, they go into the
I'm
whole
making eye
way.
contact with Moon doing it right now.
So
Yeah,
don't.
Ready?
I'm
Three.
Kegling.
Wait. 3, 2,
Two,
1.
Kegel hard.
I heard it.
Oh, yeah.
And again. 1, 2,
Yep,
3.
I heard it.
But that's the thing. I didn't
Hold.
know that.
Well, when I go to the gym, usually like Tuesdays are Kegel days.
Oh, I see.
Like I do like Tuesdays are back
Back and buys.
Chest and
back
kegs.
buys and and Keegs.
You hold some fruits in your butt crack
it's
and you're
abs
trying
and
to hold
kings.
them while you walk across the floor.
Abs and kings.
Speaking to local media, a doctor at the Health Me clinic in Chiang Mai province, Thailand, warned the public not to mimic the dangerous treatment. He said, quote, during an erection, the male genitalia triggers the brain to release neurotransmitters that cause the arteries to dilate and increase blood flow to the penis, causing it to expand. But the act shown in the videos was not correct and is ineffective.
Well, maybe.
The doctor warned the ant bite penis enlargement could potentially cause infections or trigger severe allergies that may lead to death.
We've all seen My Girl, buddy. Don't risk it. You know what I'm saying?
He got stung by bees.
Yeah.
It's
He didn't
different.
stick his
This
Damn,
could be
I
worse.
just put an image in my
he
head.
didn't
I
stick his
leave it
wedding
there.
tackle into a red weaver anthill.
Maybe he did. They just edited that out. Maybe that was the
That was the
maybe
original?
That's the director's
Thomas's
cut.
wiener needs his glasses. That's a whole different scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of edits.
So there you go.